Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect, and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Adam Vest. He is the president of mydenverdigital.com, and he helps companies throughout Colorado and across the country increase their online presence by offering customized digital marketing services, including search engine optimization, website development, and social media marketing at a fair and honest price. Welcome to the show, Adam Vest.
Neil, hello. Absolute pleasure to be with you here today.
Well, tell us a little bit more about yourself, Adam, and how My Denver Digital came about.
Sure. So about 3 years ago, I was working for a national advertising agency as an account executive, basically selling pay-per-click and directory placement. And at that time, the company that I was working for did not offer SEO services. So I would be running these appointments with my clients, and 9 times out of 10, they would end up asking me how to rank their website organically on the major search engines. And I realized pretty early on that I wasn't necessarily in a position to be able to help my customers, and that was very frustrating for me because as you know, pay-per-click leads can get pretty costly, and search engine optimization generally speaking is much lower cost per lead. So it was also difficult not having control over the product that I was selling because I wasn't actually the one running the campaign. And end of the day, that's really what led me to start Denver Digital.
So you just wanted to take it on yourself and be your own boss and do what you knew needed to be done as far as the SEO.
That's exactly right.
Is SEO the large part of your business, or is that more web design?
Yes. So, search engine optimization is kind of the core of what we do. However, website and website design and development certainly tie into that significantly.
Yeah, they all go hand in hand. You need one to work with the other. So tell me about your clients, Adam. What kind of clients is it that you help out? Is there any particular niche that you like to stick with?
Well, we focus heavily on the service industry, but, we have clients that range from, anywhere from national hat companies to roofing companies to HVAC companies to e-commerce, bow tie guys. So we kind of run the gambit as far as the clients that we're able to help and that we're interested in partnering with.
Let's talk about the service industries, because there's tons and tons of service industries out there, and most of them, at least the big ones in the cities or towns, have digital marketing teams working on their sites. But tell me what kind of problems that those kind of service industries are having.
Sure. And you're absolutely right. I would say the majority of service industry, businesses that have been around for a while have certainly done SEO or pay-per-click or direct mail. But as far as, some of the biggest challenges that I see is really just a lack of online presence. I think most business owners at this point have figured out how to set up their Google My Business page and have a pretty good understanding of, how to build or promote Facebook ads or posts. But, I think one of the biggest challenges is really knowing how to accurately define their target market as well as in their customers. That's going to end up turning, a click into an actual phone call or a sale.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that I hear from a lot of different SEOs that I've talked with is, some companies say, well, I got you more traffic, and you have, twice as much traffic onto your site right now. But, traffic in itself is useless unless it's targeted traffic that, have a problem that they need solved, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. I mean, if I could bring you, if we brought you 500 visitors to your site and not one of them made the call, versus if we were to bring you one visitor that ended up turning into a customer, which one would be more powerful? Obviously, the one that would turn into an actual sale.
So what kind of things do you do in order to really target the right audience?
Well, I think the foundation of any good SEO campaign is the actual website. I hear a lot of people say, when they're talking about foundations of a campaign, I hear a lot of keyword analysis, things like that. But, without a website, your keyword analysis doesn't really matter. So I think having a easy to navigate website, well coded, not having a lot of bloat within the code of the site is really important. It's a great starting point. And then, of course, that's really where the work begins. Is once we've developed a great website for a customer, that's really when our work begins.
And we talk about sites like WordPress, where there's a lot of companies using WordPress to design their websites. They have a ton of extra code that's not needed in there. Mm-hmm. Is that slowing down the load speeds?
It absolutely does. Yeah, it's one of the biggest factors, I think, in the speed of a website would be all of that extra bloatware in the form of different plugins. So I think a lot of folks will end up installing some kind of additional code into the site, and then they just kind of forget it. They might not be using it, and it's just kind of staying on the site, taking up space and really slowing down the site. We always try and target a 3-second or lower load time for websites, just because of the fact that once you start getting into the 4, 5, and 6 second range, you have a significant drop off from customers, just backing out of the site or going to the next site that will actually load a little bit faster.
So from that technical aspect, what kind of things can you do to make the site load faster?
Well, there are a whole lot of things, and I don't want to get too technical, but, making sure that, A, you don't have any unnecessary plugins, B, that you're caching the site, that the site is set up correctly. You don't have extra CSS all throughout the site that's slowing things down. That's another big issue that we see would be, CSS that's not coded correctly. So those are, I think, two of the biggest things. And then, of course, I think most importantly, it's just tracking to figure out exactly what your load speed is, and then finding the right ways, whether it's images. Images can take up a lot of space on the site. So downsizing or resizing some of those images can make a large impact as well.
So, that's definitely one aspect that I think is getting more and more important as we move through 2018. What other things are you seeing that are really important if you are in an industry where the competition is pretty tough?
Sure. So, something that's really become very prevalent here over the past few years would be the map pack. So the top 3 sections in the maps, especially for our service industry clients. A lot of times folks will Google something and they'll see, on their phone, they'll do a mobile search. They'll see one of the 3 businesses there in the map section, and they'll just directly call. And we've seen tremendous success by focusing on the map pack for all of our customers.
Now, this is something that I really like to talk about, because for me in the service industry, this is the most important area, is getting yourself in that map. Because like you said, it really does drive the phone calls and the business. And that's exactly what those service business owners are looking for. So tell me, how do we get in the map pack?
Sure. That's a great question. And it's a question that I hear near just about every day. So the way that from what we've found, there's 3 main factors when it comes to getting into that map pack. First and foremost is having high quality backlinks leading to your site. Secondly would be the number of reviews that you have. And then, of course, the location that is, you're being searched, that you're searching. So those are the 3 biggest factors. And with Google My Business now, it's come a long way. And really optimizing your Google My Business page is more important now than ever.
So you say optimizing the GMB page. What exactly does that mean?
Well, first and foremost, you have to have the correct categories. You have to have the right phone number, a number consistent online throughout all of the different directories. You have to have the right citations. But some other things that can really play a factor would be, sharing blog posts on your Google My Business page. It's not something that I see that's done often, and I think it's a big missed opportunity. Sharing blog posts, sharing updates. You can now create events. There's a lot of things that you can do to really utilize the Google My Business page. And obviously, Google loves that kind of stuff. And they tend to give preferential treatment to the businesses that are actually doing that.
So where do you think things are going with the map? I know they've been around for quite a few years, and they've evolved a lot. But where do you see it going in the future?
Well, I think just recently Google started offering advertising actually in the map pack, and I can't imagine that that's not making them money. So at the end of the day, you really have to think about, if you're looking at where it's all headed, you really need to think about what's going to be best for Google. And I think advertising in the map pack is very important. I think that there's a challenge right now to figure out how to incorporate the map pack into a voice search. So, when a consumer is searching with their Alexa, what are the top roofing companies in my area? I think what we're seeing right now is Google is trying very hard to figure out how to dish out that information. And I think really it's going to come down to reviews. I think the more reviews, the more 4 and 5-star reviews that you can get, the better. And I think it's more important now than ever before.
Talk to me about the actual placing of the maps on the search engine result page versus the organic results, which seem to just get pushed further and further down, especially for these services businesses.
Sure. And I think at some point, organic might be page 2 with the way things are going as far as the AdWords that Google shows there on the front search engine result page. But what it is, organic, of course, shows the map section shows directly below the Google ads. So you, generally speaking, you have 3 Google ads. Below that, you're going to have the map pack, the 3-pack. And then below that, you're going to end up having the organic section. And now, like I mentioned earlier, now in some industries, there's now 4 different maps, businesses showing up in that map pack, one of them being an advertisement.
And the other thing that's popped up recently for service-based industries is these Google sponsored ads as well, which show up, above or below the regular ads.
Yep, that's exactly right. And, I believe it's called the Google Guarantee.
Right.
And what that is, it can be very powerful for companies that go through the process. It's a pretty stringent process to become a Google verified business with that guarantee. But it certainly is something. It's a conversation that I've had with all of my accounts. And because it did just recently happen, I think they were beta testing it on the West Coast there for years, and then just recently rolled out to quite a few major cities.
Mm-hmm. Well, I certainly see it all over the place in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So you've got talk to me about the links to the website. I know we've got on the map, it's location based. How important are the actual quality of links and the content on the website to actually rank on the map?
Sure. And, I think those are 2 of the most important things that you can do for search engine optimization would be, other than having clean code on the website, would be having fantastic content that's not built for the search engines, but that's actually built for consumption. And then, on the same token, having high quality backlinks is one of the most important factors in determining your ranking. So, there can be a client with a backlink profile of over 1,000 backlinks or 50,000 backlinks. And then you can have a client with a handful of backlinks that are very high quality. And those handful of backlinks will actually get that client to rank higher than than having thousands and thousands of junk backlinks, broken links, things like that.
So, Adam, what exactly does a high quality backlink look like?
Well, what we like to say, domain authority is not necessarily a term that Google uses, but I think everybody in the industry kind of knows that they still look at PageRank, they still look at DA. So we always like to we kind of have a cutoff when it comes to our to who we will backlink to. So your site needs to have authority in order for us to link our clients to your site. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of that is a lot of those relationships are developed over time. So having the right relationships with website owners, with business owners all around the country, and especially here locally, is very important, because there are a lot of websites that have a very low domain authority score. If you're looking at Moz or one of these tools that still does kind of show the DA score, generally speaking, we have a threshold that we're not going to go under as far as linking to their site.
And if you get a link from, a good quality, trusted site with, a high domain authority, and it's relevant to your business, is there any back-end SEO you could do pointing to that link?
Well, you can certainly link out to whoever was kind enough to link to you in the first place. What we've found, generally, what's generating these high-quality backlinks is great content. And I think focusing on the content is extremely important in 2018. That was not always the case, but the crawlers over at Google are getting smarter and smarter by the minute, and they understand great content versus average content versus bad content. And I think at this point, having a great content development team is critical to the success of any agency and the success of any business owner as well.
And of course, then there's mobile, and especially since we're talking about local a lot here, mobile seems to be extremely important for mobile searches. How is that having an effect on the search results?
Sure. So, mobile has revolutionized the industry. If you remember back to the days, not that long ago, we didn't have cell phones. So now, we have these little computers in our pocket that can pretty much do anything that we need them to do as far as finding information. So, we're seeing the majority of the searches come in on mobile devices, whether that's an iPad or a tablet or, a cell phone, whatever the case. And optimizing for mobile now is absolutely a necessity. Google gives you a significant ding if your site is not mobile optimized. And with that being said, you can still have a website that's mobile optimized and still not going to convert. So it's important to pay attention to both the desktop and the mobile versions of your site if you really want to achieve, the goals that you've set out to achieve with your online presence.
So when you have a new client coming in to see you, Adam, what's the first thing that you do to, explain all these things to them?
Sure. So, initially we'll sit down with a client, and all of the packages that we offer are tailor-made to each individual client. So I think listening is really one of the most important things that we can do to start the relationship off on the right foot. And it really also helps to build trust when a client or a customer knows that they're not just another number within your agency, but you actually take the time to get to know their business. That's very powerful. So, initially we'll spend a significant amount of time doing keyword research for each client, but over time, we've been around for over 3 years now, so we're starting to kind of see the same keywords over and over again for different industries. However, there's what's called a long tail keyword long tail keywords, which are becoming more and more prevalent. So because of that voice capability, the voice search capability, long tail keywords are important to optimize for as well. And it's going more and more in that direction. There's just no getting around it when you have voice connected or internet connected voice devices all around you, Siri, Alexa, Google. It's extremely important to optimize your site for those long tail keywords that are going to get you found with some of these mobile devices, these voice activated devices.
So how do you find these long tail keywords, and what kind of content do you have to generate to make them rank?
Well, I think a lot of it, like you said, it's generating content. And the way that we specifically find these long tail keywords is based on the industry, we'll come up with 50 keywords that we're targeting, and we'll track those 50 keywords. A lot of agencies will track 3, 5, 10 keywords at a time. We like to track at least 50. The more, the better, as far as we're concerned. And what we do is based on the volume, based on the search, based on our different analytics tools, we're able to kind of see exactly how many searches are being done. It always surprises me to see some of these long tail keywords that people are using their voice to search for, but optimizing for them is critical these days. And one of the ways that we'll actually go about finding them, and I think a lot of people miss this, is to actually just start to search Google and for that industry in the form of a question. And what will end up happening is you'll see a list of quite a few of the most common long tail keywords that you have to choose from. So
could you give me an example of that?
So if you're looking for best roofers in Denver, or if you're looking for who is the best garage door repair company near me, what you're going to end up seeing is about 5 to 10 variations of that actual search, and that would be considered a long tail keyword. And then you just come up with 10 to 15 of these searches. You start typing them into Google, and you're going to see about a significant amount. And by the time you're done, you're going to have 40, 50, 60 different long tail keywords that you actually want to rank for.
And when you have that list of your long tail keywords, do you have to write a page for each one of them, or do you try and include many of the keywords in one longer blog post or article?
Sure. So, generally speaking, we'll target around 2 long tail keywords per piece of content that we write, whether that's for an actual web page or if it's a blog. And then, of course, you want to link from that anchor text using that specific long tail keyword. If you can link to other places within your site, what that's doing is it's telling Google what the page is about. And then also there's things like schema markup, to where you can be the expert, the authority when answering these questions. If you type in a question to Google, you'll see that little snippet. And that will also, as long as you're optimizing properly, the goal is to be able to be the authoritative, resource for Google to use and actually put your information right there. And then, of course, they link to your website as well. So it's a very powerful tool.
Definitely. What are some of the misconceptions that you hear then around SEO, Adam?
Well, how much time do we have left, Neil? There's quite a few. I think I could probably talk about this for the entire half hour here. But it varies customer to customer, industry to industry. But from what I've seen, some of the biggest misconceptions are pricing. A lot of business owners think that search engine optimization has to cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month, which is not always the case. And some other things that we hear all the time are it just doesn't work. We don't get leads from our website. And my answer to that usually is, well, that's because how are people finding you? If you're not showing up in front of the customers who are actively searching for you, how would you ever get leads on your website? So that's a big misconception is, we've never gotten leads in the past. Why would that change now? And then also a lot of the technical aspects of SEO kind of can push some business owners off.
So what holds people back then from actually taking the initiative and talking to an SEO like yourself?
Yeah, I think it's, I think it's just kind of fear of what they might not necessarily understand or what they're familiar with. I don't think anybody wants to spend money on something that they're not going to get any kind of a return from. And I think that's the biggest fear for most clients is what happens if I spend this money and nothing happens.
So what are the expectations? Because I know, SEO isn't an overnight thing. What are the expectations for starting an SEO campaign?
Sure. So, first and foremost, anybody that if anyone tells you that they can guarantee a ranking, we all get these emails 100 times a day. Even myself, being the president of an advertising agency, I get these emails from overseas saying, rank first page, first position within 90 days. So anybody that tells you a specific time frame, an exact time frame, is not being completely forthcoming with you. But on average, what we see is, depending on the industry and depending on whether it's local or not. If it's a national search, this would be different. But locally, 3 to 6 months, as long as we're doing things the right way, as long as we're building high quality links, as long as we're writing great content, generally speaking, we'll see accounts start to rank within 3 to 6 months. It also is very dependent on your website. So, if we start from scratch, if we build the site for you, it's going to take longer because your site does not have that authority, that domain authority, or that time online. So, my favorite accounts to work with are the accounts that are primed and ready to go. The accounts that have been around for, the websites that have been online for 10 years. They have all of these natural links that have been built without necessarily a lot of these business owners even realizing it. And they just haven't made any tweaks. They haven't made any adjustments on their site because it was working 10 years ago, and they didn't want to change things. So those are the accounts that we can generally get to rank relatively quickly.
So let's talk about results. What kind of results should a local service-based company expect when they implement an SEO program?
Sure. So, I guess just to give you an example of a client that I just spoke with yesterday. So we started working together 2 years ago, and he's a garage door repair guy here in Colorado Springs, so down south. And he was during our meeting, he had told me in the prime of his career, he was doing about 100 new garage door replacements per month. And unfortunately, he was down to about 10 replacement doors per month when him and I first met. And, he had a lot of similar questions as far as what you're asking, and he trusted in the process. And over the past 30 days, he's seen just from the map pack over 110 phone calls just from the map pack.
Wow, that's tremendous.
Yeah, so he's thrilled to death about it, and it's always a good conversation anytime that I'm able to speak with him.
Great stuff. Great case studies. Do you have any other success stories that really stick out in your mind?
Yeah. We work with roofers that show up. If you Google Denver roofers or roofers Denver or roofing company Denver, our guys show up in the top position. Nationally, we worked with a hat company that we were able to take from page 7 to page 1, position 1 for the search fitted hats. And that was that generated a lot of traffic for them. We just recently finished up a campaign with a bow tie, with a bow tie company that does a significant e-commerce, that has a significant e-commerce site. And we were able to get him to rank number 1 nationally for the search bow tie. And it was great to see because right below him was Macy's, and then below that, the bow tie bar. So some big players in the industry, we were able to allow him to compete with those those larger companies.
Yeah, well, that's some great results. Now, if somebody is looking for an SEO company to do work for them, Adam, what kind of questions should they be asking them to make sure that they are talking to the right company?
Sure. So I think, some of the most important questions would be, how long have you been in the industry, actually doing search engine optimization? Secondly, would be, what type of backlinks are you going to be sending to the website? Because, as I mentioned earlier, sending the wrong type of backlinks can really have a negative effect on your on your placement online. And finally, I would ask, examples. I would ask for examples and have them show you right then and there. Say, show me someone that you've gotten to the front page or the front position in a competitive industry. And I think results speak for themselves. And it's something that we take great pride in are the results that we've been able to achieve for our clients. And it's a very important question to ask that often gets overlooked.
Yep, and as you mentioned, there's so many misconceptions and wrong feelings, I would say, about the SEO industry. There's a lot of people out there that don't quite know what they're doing, but are willing to take your money. And then, of course, you've got those trusted people that do know what they're doing. They have the system, and they're going to talk to you and let you know exactly what it is that you're getting. And you got to make sure that you're going with the right company. So, Adam, if somebody wants to reach out to you and get help for their SEO campaign, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, visit mydenverdigital.com, or we just recently launched a large city guide here in Denver, which is denverdigital.com, or you can email me at adam@denverdigital.com, or give us a call.
Excellent. Well, briefly talk to me about denverdigital.com. What exactly is that? A city guide, you said?
Yeah, so we've made, our goal is to create the largest city guide here in Denver. So it's an online business directory. It's also a place for folks to find out what's going on in the city throughout Colorado in general. There's job offerings. There's a lot of benefits, I think, for both business owners and residents living here. And Denver is a very unique market. I think last year we had over 70,000 new residents come into Denver. So we wanted to provide something that was going to kind of showcase this wonderful city.
Excellent. Well, valuable resource right there at denverdigital.com. Go ahead and check that out. And if you want to get hold of Adam Vest, his website is mydenverdigital.com. Well, Adam, it's been a pleasure talking with you today. Thank you for all the information that you shared about SEO, and thanks for being my guest on the Trust Factor Radio.
Neil, thanks for having me.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.